Good morning, my stamping friends. Thank you so much for joining me just a little bit early this time. If you did happen to miss, I did start 15 minutes early today. I needed to get to an appointment right after this, so I had to start early. So if you missed the first part and you're watching the replay because you missed the first part, I apologize that you had any inconvenience there. But anyway, hopefully you are enjoying the episode. Okay, so today I have a really exciting class for you. Again, this is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. If you don't know me, if you've never watched before, and if you've never watched before, thanks for tuning in. And thanks for tuning in if you have watched before. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about one of the cool products from the Coordination product release that's going on right now. And we have several different dies that you can purchase, and they coordinate with things in either the MIni Catalog or the Sale-a-Bration Catalog. And then we also have one designer series paper called Pleased As Punch that is really awesome because it coordinates with 4 different punches from both the MIni Catalog and the Sale-a-Bration Catalog. So let's just go over those really quickly, and then I have some really cute projects that I want to show you today. And of course, we're going to do a free class kit. So if you purchase an order of $35 or more and use the host code that I will give you in just a little bit, then you can earn the class kit for free. We'll have 6 cards that you'll be able to have all the parts and pieces of and just assemble those along with the video at home. So I'll give you more information on that as we go along. But first, let's talk about the Pleased As Punch paper. So the Pleased As Punch paper has 4 different designs. You'll get 3 each, and they're 12 by 12 pieces. It's $11.50, and they each of the patterns coordinates with a punch. So this one, you'll know, goes with the Tulip Builder punch. So that's going to work well. You can not only punch out the tulips, but also the leaves with that Tulip Builder punch. And then on the back is a really pretty coordinating kind of a diagonal striped textured pattern that you can use for the leaves, very similar to the leaf pattern, and just some really pretty colors in this paper as well. So that's the first punch. Next we have the Umbrella Builder punch. So you can punch out not only the umbrella but also the handle with that, and also there's 2 different kinds of umbrellas. Did you realize that in this punch? So you can have 2 different sizes there, and all kinds of really pretty patterns for your umbrella. So you can choose ones that you love, and they all coordinate in the same color palette. A really nice soft spring color palette. On the back, of course, there is raindrops to go with the umbrella. I love that. Really, really pretty. Okay, third, we have the Heart Builder punch, or the Heart Punch Pack, actually. That is the punch pack that comes with not only the regular straight edge heart, but also the scalloped edge heart. And you'll get all of these hearts and all of these really pretty, I'm gonna sneeze any minute. I apologize. Sorry, maybe I won't, but anyway, it comes in all of these really pretty colors that you can punch out, some pretty heart patterns that you can add to your cards. And you know what? This is perfect, obviously, for Valentine's Day, but all these colors are really great for all year round when you make cards just to show that you care. A get well card, an I love you, an anniversary card, a wedding card. These are really pretty images that you can punch out. And then I love the coordinating back. That really pretty, I think it's, not sure if it's Blushing Bride or Petal Pink. I think it's more like a Blushing Bride, but it's so, so pretty. Just a really nice checked pattern. And then the final paper is this one, really great for spring, and it goes with the Small Bloom punch. So this is the punch that you can find in the Sale-a-Bration Catalog. You have to have a $100 order in order to earn this for free. And it's just such a classic, basic shape. Look at all of those those flowers that you can punch out. Just so many of them. And then the back is a really pretty rainbow type of a stripe, and it has that really pretty texture that the the papers are all the images are having this really pretty texture to them. So all kinds of fun. Again, you get those 4 different designs that go with all 4 punches, 3 each of the double-sided sheets, 12 in a pack, and they're 12 by 12 sheets. So a really great designer series paper pack. It's $11.50. I'll have all the links to purchase that later. And again, it's called Pleased As Punch. You can find that now as part of the coordination product release. Okay, so let's get started. I have lots of projects to show you today. So I want to get started, and I think you're really going to love it. Again, we're going to have a live class or live class kit available after this class so that you can earn a free kit by placing an order with me, and that way you can get all the parts and pieces and make all of your own cards along with the video on your own at your convenience. So I'll give you all the information on that in a minute. I will, if you hold on for a second, we're going to turn our camera around here. So hold on. All right. And you can see there at the top of my screen, we have the free live class kit. It's with a $35 order, and you need to use the host code SASGR4MF, and you need to go to toocoolstamping.com. Just click on the Shop Now link. That'll take you directly to my online store, and you can put in your order anything you want, at least $35. Don't forget to add that host code. You must have the host code in order to receive the free kit. And I think you're really going to like the kit today. Okay, let's get started. So the first card that we're going to do, the other thing that's cool about today's class is all of the projects are going to have really cool fancy folds. So none of them have a traditional fold style. So even if you don't do these specific cards, they're really great designs that you can try on your own with your own stamps. So this one is called a joy fold that we're going to do. We're starting out with Blushing Bride. We have an 8.5 by 4 1/4 piece of cardstock here. I have scored it at 5 1/2, so this part is just a regular size for a card base. And we'll just crease that. So there's our first part of the card. Next, we're going to add some of the Pleased As Punch checked paper here, and this is 2 3/4 by 4, and we'll add that with some snail just to decorate that little flap on the front. And when I do this, this looks like that check is probably petal pink, but it's very close to both, so you can really use either the Blushing Bride or the petal pink. All right, now we're going to add in, this is the joy fold part, and this is also 8.5 by 3, I believe. Yes, 3. And we're going to score it at 4 1/4, and that's going to fold the opposite direction. Before we do that, though, I want to stamp. Well, let's just go ahead and I don't really have. If you wanted to do some stamping on the inside beforehand, you could. I'm going to wait and just add a couple of things with our Pleased As Punch paper on that. So we'll go ahead and add this to our card base. And I'm going to, because this is a fancy fold and it kind of folds in a, kind of has, like when you open it up, it has you're pulling on it just a little bit. I like to make sure that I have nice secure adhesive, so I used a couple of strips of the tear-in tape just to make sure it's not going to fall off. And then we're just going to add that. Remember, it's going to fold the opposite. It's going to open to the opposite side, so it opens to the right instead of the left, and then it's going to cross over. And this is called a joy fold. All right, so let's decorate the focal point here. And for this, we have another piece of Whisper White. Oh, by the way, this is the Whisper White thick cardstock. I wanted to make sure that was nice and thick since it was going to be one of our card fronts. So this is just regular Whisper White. It is 2 3/4 by 4. And for this card, we're going to use that pretty floral pattern. And we're going to, I punched out a bunch of the flowers already. those flowers match the Thoughtful Blooms stamp set, which is another Sale-a-Bration stamp set. So you can select this for free with a $50 order. So we're going to use some images from there. And I'm going to ink up some leaves. Actually, let's start out with the sentiment so I know exactly where that's being placed. The sentiment is coming from Sending You Thoughts. This is another Sale-a-Bration item that you can get for a $50 order, but you can really use any sentiment that you want to. I'm going to use the Happy Birthday sentiment from the Sending You Thoughts, and I'm going to stamp that in Memento black ink. So I'll add that. Then we're going to stamp some leaves in Pear Pizzazz. I put the sentiment on there first so I know exactly where I should stamp the leaves. And I'm going to put a piercing mat underneath because these are photopolymer stamps and I like to make sure I have a nice clean image, and it helps to have a piercing mat underneath. So I'm just going to stamp one and then I'm going to fill up all that extra space all around the sentiment. The thing I love about these leaves is it looks like it's a whole bunch of different stamps, but it's really only one to get that whole leaf effect. And then we're just going to add some Blushing Bride little tiny flowers from our Thoughtful Blooms. And you can add these all over the ends of the leaves. There's little stems that go into nothing. That's where you're supposed to put all the flowers. And some are just little curlicues. You can put one at the end of that. So I'm just adding little Blushing Bride flowers all over. So it's going to match that background, that card base. Okay, do one more right there. Okay, that looks so pretty as it is. I think that looks really nice. So we're going to add this to the front of our Joyfold. And that, you could be done right there. That looks so, so pretty. The way this is designed though, it has these little blank spots in the middle. So for those, we're going to use some of these little punched out pieces from our Pleased As Punch. And I think I'm going to use, I'm going to stick with my, stick with those. And I'm going to use, let's see, I thought I brought my, doesn't look like I did. I thought I brought my little, sorry for my reach there, my mini. These are going to work really well with the mini dimensionals, but I didn't bring those over. So I'm just going to cut some dimensionals in half because that's what we do in a pinch. But the mini dimensionals would work perfectly behind these. You can also use the edge of your dimensionals and cut those to whatever size that you want. All right, so we'll just add a few of these. Right in the middle, and there you go. Now we have some pretty flowers. Of course, we're going to add a little bit of bling. You have to have a little sparkle. So I'm just going to add some basic rhinestones to that, right in the middle of our flowers. And then if you want to, you can even add a little flower on the inside. So you have happy birthday and then a little flower right from there on the inside. So how cute is that? Really simple to put together. I love that look. I also did a Too Cool version of that. So this is my second version. And for this one, I use the Pool Party as the card base. I use the brick and mortar texture. I love that. And I especially love that look with all of the flowers. Because I had a Pool Party card base, I used Pool Party for the small flowers, so that became the background. I used a few more of the Pleased As Punch flowers popped up, so it has a lot more floral popped up on that one. And this one says, if loving thoughts could heal, you'd be better already. So I love when there's a continued sentiment for a card like this that has a special opening. So that's our first pair of cards, and both of these cards will be included in your class kit. So you'll be able to make both of those. Okay, next, let's look at, we're gonna work with the umbrella. So get some of my stuff out of the way here. The umbrella is a really great image for spring, obviously. And there's so many things you can do with it. You can do obviously for bridal showers and baby showers and that type of thing. But you can also use it like for a get well card. There's a lot of different sentiments in the coordinating stamp set that goes along with the punch. Under My Umbrella is what it's called. Life showers bring love's flowers. Rain or shine, you're always on my mind. Hello, sunshine. No matter the weather, we're friends forever. Or showered with love. Lots of different types of things you can do with this stamp set. Okay, so for this one, we're starting with just a quarter sheet of cardstock for our card base. So it's not folded or anything. It's just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 in Pool Party. We also have a sheet here of Whisper White. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I've already embossed it with the beads and baubles embossing folder because I love that it looks like raindrops. So that's perfect. So I'm just gonna add this to my card foundation. I love that look. Raindrops already. All right, next we have another piece here. This is 10 1/2. It's scored at 5 1/4, and it's just regular Whisper White. You could use Whisper White thick if you wanted to. I'm gonna put some tear and tape on it because again, this is the part of the card that's gonna be the main fold that's gonna open and close. So I want that to be very secure on the card base. So just a couple pieces of that tear and tape. Okay, and we're going to center that and make it flush to the top there. So it has this, I love this fold. I just think this is kind of a fun, interesting fold. And it's a great way for showcasing a little bit on the background, but also some fun designer series paper or texture or whatever you want to put in the middle flap as well. So this time we're going to use the raindrop paper that's on the back of our umbrella paper. So we have raindrops in the background and more raindrops on the flap. Okay, now I've already die cut a stitched shapes circle. It's the largest circle. And we're going to add more raindrops. This time we'll use the Balmy Blue stamp pad, or ink pad, and the raindrops from the Under My Umbrella. And I'm just going to add some of that texture. Whoops. All over the background. Okay. And and we'll add that to this flap. Now make sure when you're putting that on there, you don't want a bunch of adhesive on the sides, because you don't want it to go have adhesive on this outer edge here. So let me make this a little bit more centered. There we go. So there's a lot of raindrops there. That's okay. That's quite all right. So then I went to my paper, and it was really easy to just use this punch to line up and cut out one of these pattern umbrellas already. Ready to go. Don't have to do any stamping. I also punched out a little handle as well. So let's see. Let's put this one down. And you might want to use some Tombow on this. I'm just going to use a couple dabs of snail just to be quick about it. And that's going to go, about right there. We'll pop this up with a couple dimensionals. You can see how it's coming together very quickly. And then we're going to add a little sentiment. I have a piece of So Saffron here. And it's 3 inches by 3/4. And I'm going to add, no matter the weather, we're friends forever. We're going to cut the edge here to a banner shape. So for that, remember, you go up the center and then corner to center and corner to center. And then we're going to add that to the bottom of our little flap here. We'll just do it right flush. All right, and then we want to just have a little accent right there. So I'm going to use another little flower. You could use one of the flowers from the Pleased As Punch if you wanted to. I'm using a little cluster of flowers from the Under My Umbrella. And I'm just going to color those really quickly. I have my light Poppy Parade. So just a little pop of color there. And maybe some light Flirty Flamingo for these background ones. You could add Pool Party. Any of the coordinating colors would look great. I'm going to add some light Granny Apple Green for the leaves. And then the insides, we're going to put some rhinestones on those, so we're not going to care about it too much. So this, it doesn't have a die, unfortunately, but it just takes a minute to just hand cut all the way around. It's a pretty easy shape. And it creates such a pretty accent because the flowers match the flowers on the umbrella. And then we'll just add that right here. Get our rhinestones out again. We'll add a couple of rhinestones to our flowers. Boom, boom. Whoops, lost it. Boom. And then maybe a larger one up here so that the umbrella has a little glistening spot where it's a little bit wet and the light is hitting it. So there is our really cute umbrella. And if you want to, you can add something on the inside. You can do more of the flowers on the inside. I did a second one, not a whole lot different. This time the background is with the Whisper White thick cardstock, so all white. So it really shows that pop of color here. Same background, a different umbrella. Remember, there's a whole bunch of different umbrellas that you can choose from with the different patterns and polka dots and fun stripes. So I used this different one. I colored those flowers just a little bit differently, and then I added some flowers on the inside as well. So you'll get both of these, and your umbrella is going to vary, just depends on whichever one that that gets in your kit. But you'll have all the pieces that come in the punch pieces that come with the Pleased As Punch. I'll have all of those in your kit ready to go. So you only need to worry about the stamped images. All right, so that's our second pair of cards. All right, we have a couple more cards. The next one is a fun gatefold card. And this one starts with, it's 11 inches by 5.5. And then I've scored at some really crazy score marks. And I'll tell you what they are, and I'll tell you the best way to do your scoring is definitely going to be to use the paper trimmer. The paper trimmer has little teeny tiny marks here, so you can get down to the 1/16, and that is how I did all of the score lines for this particular card. So when you're doing it, the first mark that you're going to be at, they're really crazy numbers, and I'll have them in the description as well, but it's 1 11/16, and this will make it fold and be just perfect. But like I said, you're going to be able to do that on this paper trimmer because you can see you have 1/16 inch marks on here. You're not going to have that on the Simply Scored. You're not going to have that on a lot of other paper trimmers, but this one you can really get down to little teeny tiny measurements like this. So the first one's 1 11/16, then you go to 3 3/8, then the next one is at 7 5/8, and for that you can use your there we go. You can use your arm that comes out, and this goes clear to 17 inches. This is super long, so you can have a really long piece of paper that you can work with in there. So the next one, I told you, I just lost my piece of paper. There we go, 7 5/8, and then the last one is 9 5/16. Okay, really crazy numbers, but I will have all of those written down for you as well. But get that paper trimmer if you haven't already. You're gonna love that. Okay, so for this card, you're gonna have this side fold in. Let's get this out of the way for now. And then this is gonna fold out. So this is gonna be kind of a gatefold, but it's not going to meet in the center. So you'll accordion fold those just like that. Okay? So that is going to be your card base. This is in Balmy Blue, by the way. And if you want that to lay nice and flat, you're going to want to use the point of your bone folder and really get in there and score it deeply. And that will help everything lay as flat as possible. Okay, now let's decorate that. We have some of the rainbow paper from the Pleased As Punch. And we're going to put that right on each of these gatefolds. Okay, so there is our card base. Now let's work on the focal point. I've already die cut this really pretty shape. It's a scalloped rectangle edge from the Stitched Labels dies. And I'm adding this piece of Designer Series paper, Daffodil Delight. It's a little different than Designer Series paper. And this is just gonna make another little layer right inside that stitching. I love that faux stitching. So pretty. Next, I have a piece here of Whisper White, and I'll have all the measurements again available on the post later today and also on my blog when I blog about these really pretty cards. Okay, so for this one, we're using the Timeless Tulips. Let me show you that real quick. This is the Timeless Tulip stamp set that goes with the Tulip Punch. And we're going to start by having a little stem right on the focal point there. And then we've already punched out a tulip. And I want to show you just a trick real quick about punching out the tulips. So what you want to do, before we go too far, I wanted to give you kind of a hint. So the tulips, there's a lot of them here. And like I said, you can punch the leaves out as well. But sometimes the leaves or the tulips are a little bit too close and it's a little tricky. You don't want to waste any. So what you want to do is cut out a row of tulips, and then you'll start on the tulip side of your punch, and you can just, whoops, this one needs a little bit off the bottom here. See, it takes a little time to do it. And you can just keep adding that. Sometimes you'll have to do this, just kind of cut it to make sure that it all fits in there nicely. So you just go the one direction. Now, because the leaf is on the other side, you might need to take that out and manipulate it a little bit. If you don't have anything to hang on to, you can make your own little handle. Just take a scrap piece of paper and you can use that as a little handle. Whoops, let me take this off. That way you can hold that and manipulate it exactly where you want. Actually, I have this upside down. So let's do it like this. There we go. Whoops. Really, this works better in real life. Let's start again. Take a little bit of snail. Make sure you have it going the correct way, which is this way, it looks like. Tack that on there. Now you have a handle. Is it making sense now? I felt like I really screwed that up. Okay. Now we can punch that out. And then you can just take this off. You can put the next piece on there that you need to put on there, but you get the idea. So you can either keep going this way, or if you need to trim off anything or use a little handle, that's how you can best do that. The cool part is you get 31 tulips and 21 of the leaves. So it really is pretty phenomenal, all the fun flowers that you get out of it. Okay, so we're going to use some dimensionals and pop this up real quick. And you can pick and choose whatever color of tulip that you want. And then you can add a little leaf on there as well. And we'll add that to our focal point. This is a really cute card that I got as a swap from Susie Woods. She did a really pretty, I'll show you her card in a minute, but it's just so, so cute. Okay, we're gonna add this to our card front, and we only want it to hook on one side. So the way I do that is I flip that over 180, and I'm gonna just add some dimensionals on this side. And then close that and pop it up. There we go. Okay, Next, we're going to add a little sentiment across the bottom, and we're going to use the Pool Party cardstock, just a little strip of that. And again, we're going to use our scissors to banner cut that. And we're just going to use a little bit of snail to put that, whoops, not upside down, put that right across the top here. So there, and if I want to, actually I think I should use a little bit of, let's use dimensionals. That's going to work a lot better. That's going to be popped up like our, there we go. Happy birthday. All right, so there is our card, and then you can dress it up a little bit by adding some sequins. I added some of the Gingham Gala daffodil sequins there, and don't forget to put this piece on the inside. You can decorate that as well, but that's where you're going to write, and that is so super cute. Now let me show you the card that inspired me. It was this one from Susie Woods. I loved her really bright daffodil look, and she used the same rainbow paper. She used a little bit of the daffodil ruched ribbon, also the Gingham Gala, and then if you can see there's some shine on there, you can put a little wink of Stella glimmer on that tulip if you want to, and that really makes it really pretty. So those are 2 more cards. We're going to do this one in our card kit, the one that I put together. So you'll get the Balmy Blue in the live card kit. All right, we have 1 more card, and this one is also another fancy fold. It's starting out with Highland Heather, again just as a quarter sheet card base. We also have a piece of Whisper White. This is 8 by 5 1/4, and it's scored at 4 1/4, or scored at 4, sorry. This one's gonna open kind of like the Joyful card. So it's gonna open backwards. We're gonna add just a little strip of the Pleased As Punch green down the side here. All right, then we're going to add another little piece of, this is the Seaside Spray, and put this clear at the bottom actually. All right, so that's, and this little part will make more sense in a second. We have another little part here that I've already pre-done, and it's 4 by 5 1/4 as well, scored at 3 1/4, or scored at 3/4. I've used the, I totally lost the name of it, the stitched, oh, we just used it for the scallop, but anyway, it'll be on the list. But anyway, we use that to cut out the window here, and then I ran it through the subtle folder. And then before I put that down, I'm just gonna add this to the back of this card. And like I said, this will all make sense in a second. So we're going to line this up right at the score line. Okay, now you can see how that's going to go down on this card. Okay, before we actually put that on there, I want to stamp our tulip again. So I'm going to do that stem, and I want that tulip to come up into here. So let's go like that. Let's add a little leaf here. Let's do it this way. Whoops, oh, I hate when it doesn't get stamped. That's why you need your piercing mat, because I didn't get that all the way down. It doesn't transfer correctly all the time when it's a photopolymer. Okay, next we're gonna use our tear and tape to add this to our card base. And then we'll finish up that tulip. I have a purple tulip all cut out here, and we'll use the dimensionals to pop it up again. I love those gingham gala sequins. We used that on the previous card. This one we can add the seaside spray, or is it balmy blue? I think it was supposed to be balmy blue, but it goes really well with the seaside spray. All right, so there's that part of it, and then we'll finish up with a little bit of more of the gingham across the bottom. Do this upside down so I can see where it's going. And I can see right now that I didn't get this lined up. So you're going to do a little bit better job. And if you don't have it lined up before you put it down, you can just kind of trim that off with your cutter. But that's going to line up to go across there. Then we have a little sentiment. We'll just stamp this with the Memento black ink. Happy Mother's Day. And then before I put that down, I'm going to add just a little strip of the Granny Apple Green just to give a little pop of green on this side. We'll do a little banner cut on this side as well. And then we'll pop that up with a couple of dimensionals. All right. There we go. So this opens, and then this opens. You can decorate this a little bit more if you want to with some additional stamped tulips from your Timeless Tulips. If you wanted to add in Highland Heather or Seaside Spray on there, you could. So what a pretty card. I love that window. I love the fun opening. This is a card that was inspired by a card I received from Terry Gaines. And here's her card. I just loved it. Very bright and cheery. She used that same die set with the scalloped rectangle. So that is so, so fun. Here's a picture of the inside. I have a card that's done already. You can see the inside, I put a little flower. I also put a little piece of the baker's twine there too. So this is the card that's gonna come in your class kit. And let me just walk through those again. Remember, when you place a $35 order using the host code, you have to use the host code. Just go to toocoolstamping.com and click on the Shop Now link. And you're going to get all the parts and pieces for the entire Pleased As Punch class kit. So you'll have these two cards. You'll also have both of the umbrella cards, and then both of the small blooms cards. So you're going to get all of these cards in your class kit. Again, just with a $35 order. And you need to have that order in by next Tuesday. That's going to be the 25th of February of 2020. So make sure you get your order in by then. I'll be sending out the class kits next Friday. And like I said, you'll get all of the pre-punched pieces. So really the only thing you're going to have to add is the sentiments, or the background here. If you have the thoughtful blooms, You're going to need some of that. If you want to add the additional raindrops, you'll need the Under My Umbrella. And the tulips, you can either stamp with the timeless tulips, or you could actually just cut out stems with cardstock if you wanted to, if you didn't have all of the different sets. But it's a really fun class kit. I hope that you've enjoyed working with this today, and hope you have fun with the class kit at home. If you have any questions, you can always put them down below in the comments. I'll be happy to answer those for you. And I will have all of the measurements and details listed on this post later today, as well as on my blog in the next few days. So be sure to check that out, toocoolstamping.com. All right, everybody, that wraps it up for this class, and I hope you've had a lot of fun. I'll see you next week on Thursday at 9 a.m. for our next live class. This is Angie with toocoolstamping.com.